That was the ultimate yeah movie, quite frankly. I think everybody here was reacting exactly how they needed to, when they needed to, and it was a fantastic experience. I have a question about horror stuff. I saw your VHS 2 segment, and it was fantastic. And I'm wondering if you're going to revisit that, or if you're... I know you have a bunch of stuff kind of coming up next, sounds like, but I'm wondering if horror might be one of those things.
Okay, thank you first of all. I give so much credit to Timo from VHS, because he's the one that came up to me and said, because we both got contacted at the same time to do VHS 2, but separately, and we'd always be looking for something to collaborate on. And I was like, I said to Timo, I said, dude, I haven't got a clue, man, I want to do something for this, but I don't know what to do, I haven't got any ideas. And so then he was like, you know, well, I've got an idea, but I really want to work with you if we're going to do this. So I was like, okay, well, let's try it as a collaborative thing. What's your idea? And he said, what would it be like if a group of journalists went to the Jonestown group on the day of the massacre? And I was like, that would be the best idea I've ever heard. Let's do that. And then what we decided to do then is that we went through the script idea and we started like scripting in a way where, okay, we need to make this is only like 20-30 minutes long, so we need to make it fun, vibrant, and entertaining, not dark, serious, depressing. Because you know, he played me the real audio of the final sermon. It was the creepiest thing I'd ever heard, but it was also one of the most darkly disturbing things I'd ever heard. And I was like, we need to kind of bring some kind of manic mayhem to this to actually be able to still be entertaining for the whole anthology to work. So then we started messing around with more of the occult, more of like the sort of like demon worship and stuff, so that it was like, okay, well, what if those crazy people that you would never believe in a million years, what if they're right? And what if they were just waiting for that one right person to be able to open up the gates of hell? And what if that happens? So then that kind of tipped it over then, and we could go as crazy as well as we wanted. In terms of me doing a horror film, yeah, I'd love to. I have an idea for something that I'd like to do, maybe further down the line. The next two things I have lined up are totally different ones, like a sort of a gangster action film that I might do in US, with my boys doing the action for me. And then, you are. And then the other one is a UK-based one that I'm currently developing, and that's about a true story about a UFC fighter that got attacked in the club, couldn't fight anymore, so he masterminded the biggest cash robbery in UK history. And that story is insane. It's off the charts. It's like it's extreme. It's a bit like sort of Chopper meets Ocean's 11. But without so much of the heist caper comedy stuff.
I'm looking forward to both of those. I want you to get back behind some horror stuff. Make sure Eco's involved in the horror stuff.
In the horror stuff, okay.
And can I have that poster?
No, we can do something with that. Last question, ready?
Just quickly on the theme of dads, my father took me to see a lot of inappropriate stuff when I was his age, and I think it was one of the best things he ever did for me, actually. Following on that, I just want to ask, now that, you know, you're meeting other directors, you've proved your mettle, I think you pulled an all-timer here as far as the set pieces are concerned. But I still really love, like my favorite shot in the movie is the blade of grass. Like, there's all these things that are very distinct about you, but I want to ask, now that you're making these movies, why do you think the conventional action movie has become so anemic compared to what you're doing? Is it Indonesia? Is it who you're working with?
Thank you first, that's hugely complimentary. And just to go back to that thing about dads, totally the same. My dad would show me Commando and stuff on VHS when I was a kid. And he'd show me Scarface, like when I was about 9 or 10, but Scarface, when it came to the chainsaw scene, I'd see them getting tied up. I'd see the guy going for the chainsaw, see him crank it up. As soon as the motor started turning, pause, get out the room. So then I'd have to go into the hallway, and then he'd play it and watch it himself. So I'd hear everything. And in my head, I'm seeing way worse than what was on screen, right? And then like all of a sudden, the screaming would stop, he'd pause, he'd come back in. And that was that. So, yeah. So like, yeah, it's like, you know, because I've become a dad now, I'm more like nervous about what she's allowed to see if she's 5 and stuff. And I showed her Star Wars for the first time the other day, and that was great, but I completely forgot. And so like, about the scene where the guy's chopped off and there's blood on the floor, and so she was like, ew, gross. I was like, wait till you see what daddy does. Yeah. Going back to the thing about action films, so yeah, I never really saw what we do as being anything that new. For me, what we do is like, it's basically taken influence from stuff that I love that still holds up today, but from 20, 30 years ago. So it's like Peckinpah, it's John Woo, it's like Jackie Chan in the 90s and 80s. All of those things, and the way they shot action back then was with a degree of clarity and geographical like understanding of your space, where you are and what's coming up around the corner, without telegraphing it, but just letting you get a sense of knowing where you are. And that's kind of gone a little bit now. Now it's all crazy, like it's like 1,000 pixels on the screen that have to kind of like attack. And what I loved about like, those films, like John Woo films, is those moments where he just lets you have a moment of silence. Yeah. It's like in The Killer, the shootout in the church. One of the best scenes and one of the best moments in that. There's like a moment when I think it's Cherry Fat gets shot in the shoulder, and it goes really quiet for a moment, and then it shows like the Virgin Mary, and then you show this like this white dove just like flutter onto like a candle, and all you hear is the feathers fluttering. You don't hear all the other people shooting in the background, you just hear that. And those little moments, those are what make those scenes so special and so much, they kind of get your adrenaline going, is that idea of somebody taking the time to say, I'm not going to hit you with a barrage of like sounds and noise and effects, but to actually take it back a little bit and then put these little moments of quiet.
Well, you very clearly understand that tradition. Thank you for carrying this torch. Thank you for coming here, because we love you.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much.